Spokesperson for the Hartbeespoort Community Development Initiative, Russell Baloyi, joins us now via our video link for more on this conversation. Russell, thank you so much for your time. I mean, let's pick it up from here. We saw this report there from my colleague. And would you say that the latest matter is racially motivated?
Well, there's no question about that. What we are sitting with here is a situation where Hartbeespoort over the years has actually become a safe haven for any racist. And unfortunately, they're not showing off their racism only to black business, but also to normal black people who go there for all kinds of things, predominantly, which is tourism.
Would you say, has this always been there, or is this something that, just grew recently?
Well, it has always been there. Hartbeespoort has always been there. It looks like there seems to be a well-concerted effort to organize a pocket of excellence for racists in South Africa, in Harties. And I wouldn't want to go far back in our history, because you know that the history to our liberation struggle was centered around the issue of land and racism. So 30 years into our democracy, we are witnessing a situation where, despite efforts where cases were reported with the Human Rights Commission and the Public Protector and the Department of Water and Sanitation, you have a group of white people who are organized and are taking advantage of new recruits in government in the form of intern and junior black personnel to assist them in sustaining this racism that we are witnessing as a black business in Harties.
Why does it seem as if, from your statements and the story we have seen and from the comments coming out from community members in Hartbeespoort, it seems as if, people are finding it difficult to share the space. Why does it seem so?
Well, the reality of it is that there are people, especially our white counterparts, who deliberately feel strongly that they are entitled to receive as much benefit as they've always received. They are just not cooperating with the transformation agenda, and unfortunately, it so happened that our government and the Chapter 9 institutions, like your Human Rights Commission and the Public Protector, are helping them to maintain the status quo, which is very unfortunate. I'll give you a classical example. There's a prominent black person who happens to own one of the soccer clubs, who tried to procure a piece of land in Harties in 2009. It was a state land. The deal went through, but on the 11th hour, that transaction was reversed on the basis that it was the only available land that government could use for public access. But the reality of it is that there's pockets of land around the whole dam that are owned by government. And most of the people who are occupying such pockets of land are white people. And they're just not willing to give space for transformation, which will allow black business to also take advantage of the land that is there in Hartbeespoort for them, which belongs to government. More so because if you want to really achieve the developmental goals that come with the transformation of our land, government-owned land becomes the easiest one to use for starters, because there's no dispute there. It's owned by government. Government can take a decision to say, in the land that we own, we can then have this preferential treatment for black people. So now we have a situation where we are supposed to be celebrating 30 years of our democracy, but some of the little gains that we were beginning to enjoy are literally being taken away by racists who are forever protected by officials who are misleading people who are in the executive of this government, who are supposed to be leading us.
I mean, you are putting this, blame on the doorstep of government, and, even listening to some of the audio clips there from that package we just played, it seems as if, government seems to also be playing some sort of role in this. Have you reached out to government in Hartbeespoort to try and find a lasting solution so that both communities can live in unison?
No, definitely we did try our best to reach out to government. Back in 2018, I mean, one of our colleagues was badly assaulted, and as a result of that and many other accidents of racism, we organized a march, and we organized the department which was in attendance. I think even their spokesperson, I think, was Mr. Sputnik Ratau at that time. He came to be part of the delegation that received the memorandum. We had a delegation from the presidency that came along to receive the memorandum. We also had a delegation from the Human Rights Commission. That was back in 2018. I think in the Human Rights Commission, we're dealing with a certain Mr. Mgume Zulu, whom I've learned recently that he left this thing without doing anything about it. But the essence of this message was that actually this thing will make more sense to the public protector.
Yeah.
And the public protector is also giving us their runaround. And you can see that there's a deliberate attempt to push us to one door after the other, just for people not to take responsibility. That's what we are experiencing.
So how are you going to highlight the problems that you are facing as a community if it seems as if, no one is willing to listen to your plea as the community of Hartbeespoort?
Well, the reality of it is that this is not just my problem or the problem of our organization, but this is a national problem that we are sitting with, where we are beginning to see some of the gains that we have achieved in the past 8 years being reversed. I mean, I know a lot of black people were doing far better than they were doing pre the 1994 breakthrough. But now, 30 years into our democracy, we're beginning to see a trend where most of the things that we have accumulated over the past 30 years are beginning to be taken away. And with this GNU and the recent the recent election of the 29 May, we're beginning to see a trend where people are saying it cannot be anymore. And I think this is an opportune time because we have a new Minister of the Environment, which to me equals to a new broom that can clean much better. So there is a good platform. It being Heritage Month, it's an ideal time for the new minister, the president as well, and all other parties that are involved in this thing, to come to the party and see to it that there is a solution that can be implemented. Because if you review this whole situation, of course we are sitting with a situation today where we have Umama, the former public protector Mkhwebane, being branded out there as incompetent and fired from a job, which, of course, I can't even begin to defend her to say she's not incompetent. But the reality of it is that is she the only one who's incompetent? How many more people who have been trusted to serve the public have proven to be incompetent? Yet there's never been showcased anywhere to be incompetent. So I think this is about time for our leaders to come to the party and realize that unfortunately the balance of forces are changing and people are tired. It can't be that people are occupying strategic positions and are just glorified to be sitting there without delivering the goods. People went to fight for this country for the sole purpose of seeing to it that land is being shared between black and white and all citizens that belong to the country. And it can't be that the things that we were fighting for back in the day are exactly the same way that they were pre-94.
All right, Mr. Baloyi. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for that insight and bringing us up to speed with that story. That is Russell Baloyi giving us an insight in terms of what is taking place in Hartbeespoort. He speaks for the Hartbeespoort Community Development Initiative.